Welcome to the Other Team Podcast. Zach Handy, Jake Handy, Terrence Scott here, going on episode 25, and now a sponsored podcast. This podcast brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Come prop up on Thrive Fantasy this season. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy sports app for player props. They have eliminated the need to do countless hours of research because they only ask you about the top tier athletes in a respective sport. If you're playing NFL, you choose 10 out of the 20 player prop options to build your lineup. If you're playing NBA, MLB, PGA, even esports, choose 5 out of the top 10 player prop options to build your lineup. Each prop has a fantasy point total associated with the over or under based on its likelihood to occur. The more points a selection is worth, the riskier it is. Rack up the most points to win a share of the prize pool. If you're playing PGA and you're worried about getting busted before the weekend, don't worry. Thrive has new contests for each day of the tournaments. Thursday only events, Friday only events, etc. So don't sweat your golfers ruining your weekend by not making the cut. Thrive has awarded over 1.3 million in prizes since launching in 2018. So why are we telling you this? Because we finally got you a promo code. Use the promo code TheOtherTeam. When you use the promo code TheOtherTeam, you sign up today, you deposit $20 or more, and you get another $20 on top of your deposit to play inside Thrive Fantasy. Download Thrive Fantasy on the App Store or Play Store, or by visiting their website, thrivefantasy.com. Sign up and prop up today. First ad, boys. Big news this week. Let's get the good news out of there first. So,
Zach,
Thrive
come here.
Fantasy. Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Just breathe, man. Just give me a deep breath, brother.
Look,
You had to get through that.
When you get in the ads, you gotta get inside.
No, you gotta bring it.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
gotta bring it.
Next week,
I gotta feel like I got
adrenaline
Thrive.
rush.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta get Thrive Fantasy in your
I'm
blood.
jacked up.
I'm ready to thrive.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta get jacked up over Thrive Fantasy.
I think I just instinctively deposited $50 without even thinking about it.
That's the idea, because then you're gonna get another 20 on top of that. Now you got $70 in your Thrive Fantasy account, and you're ready to play. We're in the bubble playing Thrive Fantasy. We're out on the road in the MLB playing Thrive Fantasy. It's all there for you. Welcome to the Other Team Podcast. As I said, Jake Handy, Terrence Scott over there. I'm Zach Handy. Boys.
Episode 25.
Episode 25, but I just want to jump right into hoops today. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't. We got to jump right in to our game. Yeah, we actually had a great sports segment for gaming. We all here grew up playing sports games, correct? Everyone here? That was the first game you went to when you started playing Xbox or whatever. It was probably like NBA or MLB probably. I did get down on Call of Duty, but Slugfest is like the greatest game ever. NBA Street, one of the greatest games ever. So we love sports games.
I was thinking about this actually before we even get into this, because I was thinking about games that I tried to play outside of like sports games, because that was what I traditionally play, and then like I would end up playing like skating games, which was just another form of sports. And I was like, damn, Terrence, I never branched out. It's like, damn, all I ever did was play sports. Speaking of that needs to be on this ranking actually.
Yeah.
But so the topic is sports video game rankings. I basing it off, I would say, a combination of all of the games over time, but really I'm doing it just off this year, because if we're going to rank basketball, NBA Live will be really high up there and whatnot, but it's just based off the most recent games. Personally, I rank UFC as the best sports game out there. It's pretty realistic, even though I've been losing a couple of fights lately that I've been quite mad about. Lost a few decisions. I was like, that makes no sense, but it's a really good game. I think it's the best sports game. Then I'll follow it up with the show. MLB show goes without being said. It's the only baseball game out there. It's pretty realistic. Actually, no, I take that back. They do have RBI baseball, but don't even waste it.
That thing doesn't exist. It's pointless.
Exactly. And then I would go, a lot of people probably wouldn't pick this, but I'm a Madden lover. I do think Madden is a good game. They do have glitches and whatnot, but overall, I do think it is a good football game. Another controversial game, I guess, because most people probably do not play this and is not familiar with this sports game. But like I said, I play all of these sports games. Is the NHL, the hockey game. It is a pretty good game. Some people, Jake will say it's hard to follow the puck. I do understand that. That shit does be flying around the ring pretty fast on that game. It's like going like this whole game, so it is a little hectic, but it's still a pretty good game. FIFA, I would rank 5th, even though I'm not too high on that game. I might interchange it with 2K. 2K would have been higher, because I had like 2K19 and 18 high.
Really good.
They just fell off this year, so I had to knock them. Ronnie, get it together, even though you ain't developing, but you the face. But yeah, 2K sucks ass this year, so they deserve.
I'll say, I want to make one comment on Terrence's list. Being that I play a lot of video games with Terrence, we play these games online together, and talk about him often. I'm super shocked that you have Madden so high. I have seen Madden nearly break all of us. I've had Terrence sending me Snapchats of the glitch where they used to pop up the ball like 40 feet in the air, and then the safety will go grab it for a pick. Like, I was shocked when I saw Terrence had Madden third. But he figured it out. We got into a connected franchise type thing or a fantasy draft type season, and Terrence absolutely destroyed us. So
I figured out
that's probably where his Madden love came back. But that's just what I was shocked that you had Madden so high. I knew you'd have UFC in the show up there. I know you love those games, but I was shocked to see Madden like above 2K for you.
Well, it's Ultimate Teams. I feel like any Ultimate Team on all sports games sucks, and that will break your spirit because you're gonna play against some people who have a fucking ridiculous team and your team doesn't, and you're gonna get beat by 50, and your heart is just gonna want to jump out
because
your
you feel
chest,
like you still
and
better
hate
skilled, but the guy has just better cards, so he's just gonna beat you because.
And it's like, how the hell did you get all those cards? Like, how did this happen? Like, how do you have all these amazing cards? And I'm like, just ass out here in these streets. It makes no sense. And it's like, this can be like first week the game came out. It's like, how the hell do you have all of this?
Yeah, I do love UFC. I'll agree. I think UFC probably tops my rankings too as far as sports games go. It's so good. Like, and I'm not even good at it. I'm terrible at UFC. But it's like a really fun game. It's a great game because the pace. You could get out like 20 fights in like an hour if you just keep getting first round decisions and stuff, which is cool. You know, you can kind of run through it and keep going. For me, number 2 on my list, just over the show, just strictly because I don't have a PlayStation and don't get to play it enough, I'm gonna put FIFA. I'm a FIFA head. I think it's probably my strongest sports game. I'm willing to play anyone, just about anyone heads up and feel confident. I think I thrive in that game. I love the pro clubs aspect of it that we play with our friends as well. I think FIFA is a really good sports game. The Ultimate Team has never got me, and I am an Ultimate Team guy, which is weird, but I've never got into the Ultimate Team in FIFA. It's just never. I just don't like the way the interface of it and the way it's been built. Maybe I got to start right when I get FIFA next time and try to build something special over there. But I would go the show third. I can't wait for it to come to Xbox next year so I can really get back into it. Baseball is just great, and it's great in video game, and the show is so fun. Yeah,
I believe so.
It's next April, May. Like, if you literally Google when does the show come to Xbox, it's going to pop up and say expected next April, May of next year to Xbox. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it's finally happening. It's finally coming over. But the My Player, created player thing on the show is every year so good, and it's one of the better games out there. I haven't played NHL, so I'll just automatically tell you guys right now that's going to be at the bottom. I'm not even going to talk about it. I haven't played it, and I haven't played an NHL game probably since 2005, real shit. So I can't judge it. I got to put 2K above Madden, and which is crazy because I played so much more Madden than 2K this year. But I started playing 2K later. I started playing My Team, and I had fun in the triple threat. I love the ball drop. I really got into 2K late. And I finally learned how to handle
that there's a gambling option.
Yeah, and I do love that there's a gambling option. And I kind of finally figured out how to be a guard on this 2K. I was always just a big man. I can only play post moves, and it just got too repetitive to me. But I'm starting to learn the handle in this 2K. And then Madden. I got burnt out on Madden this year, and I just don't care for it at all anymore. And it broke me. You guys were a part of the fantasy season where the game broke me, and I almost had to break my Xbox and Madden and everything video game related. So I think strictly because of that game mode that we played, I'm going Madden last. Strictly, I think because of that, because it almost broke me mentally, and I was about to be single with no electronics living on the street or something. It broke me to where I was snapping at my girlfriend, don't talk to me while I'm playing Madden. So that's why I got that last, But all in all, none of them are too bad. But yeah, Madden's last, dude. That one really got on.
I had to stop teasing Zach when we was playing Madden. It was just I was whooping his ass, and it was all silent.
Headphones around the neck like this, not listening to anybody. It was just brutal. It was so brutal.
During quarantine, everybody just mad. Just
edge.
That feels so long ago, but that was the beginning of quarantine.
Yeah, I know.
That felt like last year. This
was the idea. We're all let's get this sick-ass connected season fantasy draft together at quarantine. We'll have all quarantine. We'll do 6 seasons of this thing. We'll be way deep into this thing. Madden broke me, and I never went back after that. I had Joe Burrow's first overall pick. Got halfway through that season and was screw this. This game sucks. I can't win shit.
Yeah, Madden season wasn't good for anybody else. anybody there. I didn't have too much great time.
It
I
had
had Kirk
potential, man.
Cousins
Your team had
thinking.
potential.
Terrence finally figured out he was killing him at it. I'm not gonna lie.
I got Madden kind of far down my list. It's funny. All of our lists are different, which I think is funny about these games. Like, the only thing we can agree on is none of us like 2K very much. It's at it's the very bottom of like everybody's list.
Hey, UFC was at the
And we all
top.
love UFC. I got the show one. And maybe it's just
And
because I
the
just
show.
got it. But I got UFC 2. Like, we all love UFC. That game fucking nailed it. FIFA,
And
Madden
the show.
2K is how I went after those two. FIFA, Madden 2K. Madden, the rating system. That's what it is for me. Madden, it's the rating system, and I don't get how they're rating players even during the season, week to week. You know,
It
guy
gets
has
better during the season, but
It
man,
does,
the
but
intro
even
ratings are
still-
absurd.
yeah, but even during the year, things will happen, and I'm like, okay, he had a good week, but we're just gonna move him from like 86 to 91 off one good week. Like, that's kind of crazy to me. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just I don't get how they do it. I don't get what they're looking at compared to
I
what.
think Gronk's a 95.
But-
So what?
Right. You know what I mean? He's better than fucking. He's heard for one of them. They have him
He
listed.
can barely run. He's a 95. So what?
Just I don't get it. I love
Got the
FIFA.
league for a
Zach.
couple years, whatever. He's a 95. Like
I
what?
think Zach nailed it too with FIFA, where it's like I love Ultimate Teams, and I somehow still love FIFA, and I don't love their Ultimate Team. I've never fallen in love with it. I've tried multiple FIFAs, and I just have never bought in, and I don't know. Pro Clubs makes that game worth it. It's a really great. It's like it's almost like a version of the park in 2K.
I was gonna say it's like Parks, right?
Kind of,
Yeah, exactly. It's a version
you
of that.
play with your own guy, but you can constantly make them different positions to fit form, and just they really nailed it with that. MLB The Show is
He builds
that,
up his
that shit's
skills
awesome.
like throughout the games. Like you get.
Yeah, exactly.
Your skill points, and you can apply them. Dribbling, shooting, whatever you want them to be at. I love it.
Interesting. I might have to take my talents to that.
Pro Clubs is fun. I love it too because in a way, it does teach you like how to play
Soccer.
some decent soccer.
Some good form in soccer. It teaches you proper form
To
for
a point.
positioning
To
and
a
stuff
point.
like
It's still
that.
a
To a
video
point.
game. But yeah, UFC is great. We always loved Knockout as a kid. It's hard to fuck up fighting. We all love fighting games, and it's just real life. It's real life Street Fighter. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to fuck that up sometimes. And UFC nailed it. They went the farthest from messing it up. They nailed it.
Mhm.
So, you want to be Connor? Well, Connor's got striking. You go in there and you start striking the shit out of people with Connor. If you want to be the grappling guy, you can get in there and grapple. It's really fun. I just love that all of our lists were a little bit different. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Every game brings a little something. To
No.
it.
The severity of which we disliked a couple of games is really what it was. Like, well, I only disliked Madden this much. Oh, well, I disliked it a lot. Like,
Yeah. Screw Madden,
No
bro.
love for hockey from neither one of you, though. No.
Yeah,
love.
Yeah.
I gotta play it.
Well,
I
I
downloaded
played
it off
it, and I
Game
just-
Pass, and I just
I don't
never
know.
played it.
I played it and I couldn't really follow the puck much, and maybe I just don't know how to play hockey. So it did, maybe like to Terrence with soccer, he doesn't really follow soccer like that. Like, I don't really follow hockey like that.
Mhm.
So, I'm like, I don't even.
It's hard.
What's the
Like how to
play?
even score. Uh-huh.
How do I even set up a play type of shit? I don't know. Hockey never got me. I was running around the ice just trying to check people. You know what I mean? I didn't know what I was doing.
I know how to score on FIFA. Watch out. Get these goals.
But on me,
Get these goals.
You
We
score
can
on
take these
goals.
talents to the goals, man. We can take it to Twitch and let the fans see me get to the
Man.
goals.
next
pitch.
move for sure. That's definitely a move coming up. But yeah, sports games are the shit. I love them. I miss Slugfest. I saw this thing on Twitter saying like, what old school sports game would you bring back? And I'm like, bring me
2K.
Slugfest immediately,
MLB
please.
2K. It was better. MLB 2K was
MLB
so much.
MLB 2K was
fun.
great.
Yeah.
Had a little talent come in there that was.
But I would say bring back NCAA, any college and basketball, but
Yeah, football
we
and
all know
basketball.
that's all weird and difficult. We all know
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole pod episode, I think.
that. Yeah, really.
So
So
away from the world and the virtual hoops and all that, like let's get right into the NBA. Ton of NBA since the last time we talked and stuff.
We're active.
Very, very active in the hoops. All the bubble has been going up. We're fresh off this Suns and Clippers game, so we'll start there and we'll circle back to Lakers Clippers. Jesus, Devin
was
Booker.
that not the
Good
most
golly,
like
Miss
Kobe
Molly.
like game winner? Like
Maybe
shit, that was
you
over three
fucking aren't
people.
taking it.
Bro had
Ah.
so many open teammates. Was like, I don't care. Me, I'm shooting this. Like I'm the best player on the team. Live and die by my shot. And I love it. I absolutely
I'll
love
tell you right
when
now,
you let the best players shoot the ball.
the most favorite thing to look at when you shoot a basketball has got to be Paul George's hand. It's got to be. It's just got to be the
I know
prettiest thing.
people love the game Paul. Like
I
they
don't
love
know.
the game.
Damian Lillard. Oh, Paul George's hand directly in my face. Oh, that looks
Oh,
great.
I got you. I missed right
Devin,
there.
Devin Booker.
I thought
hand-
you meant
oh,
hit
Paul,
the ball leaving his hand. I'm like, huh? I'm like,
No.
Clay
the
got a
prettiest
beautiful
thing
shot.
to see when you're shooting a basketball is Paul George's
got you.
hand directly into your eyeballs, because apparently everybody just makes it when it's right
Dude,
there.
that was in Paul's eye socket. Like
I was over 3 people.
good
Fade
God.
away over 3. Like that's what,
So that was how it finished. I'm sure by the time you listen to us, you'll know that Devin Booker just absolutely gamed the Clippers nasty. Besides that, the rest of the game, the Suns made a ton of shots that game.
Oh my God! I knew that game was gonna be weird when I saw Ricky Rubio hit and one 3-pointer or whatever that was, like mid first quarter, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be weird today. Got it. Nets already beat the Bucks, and now this is gonna get a little weird today.
I made 17 threes.
I just want to say cash considerations, and this is a shout out to TJ Warren, because Phoenix, you're fucking stupid. You have a solid core, and if
Imagine
you still
if you
had
had
that
50
man,
a game out there.
like look what he's doing right now. Like they gave him the option, since obviously Oladipo and Sabonis aren't there, so it's his chance to show what he can do. So his numbers are a little inflated because he's getting more shots than usual, but the man has always been a scorer. Like Phoenix had no business letting him go, and to send him for cash considerations, this is why your franchise sucks.
Like you didn't even get
Would
anything.
not surprise me if Devin Booker is not on that franchise for much longer either. Like they're gonna end up doing something stupid and getting rid of that man, because it's just in your lineage, you're dumbasses. But
Man. I like that roster. Like
I like
obviously,
that
I
roster
agree
a
that
lot.
you said like TJ
like
Warren
them.
would be really
they
good
always
for
look
what
good
they
when
do
they're
right now.
getting shots.
That's why they need TJ Warren, because
Yeah.
I really like Bridges. He's a solid two-way defender. And he can knock down threes. Obviously, speaking of that, I really like what Devin Booker doing. They're basically doing what Houston's doing with Harden. They said, screw getting a traditional point guard. I'm gonna let my best player have the ball. He's gonna score a ton of points, and he can facilitate, because everybody has to stop him.
It's not like he doesn't make good decisions with the basketball. He makes good decisions.
Yeah,
Sorry
and
for in the
everybody's
background,
trying to
guys.
stop.
I live
Everybody's
above a
trying to
7-Eleven. I'm sure my mic's picking that up.
Oh, I can't hear it. Yeah.
There's a delivery truck. So everyone listening in the pod, just know there was a delivery truck at 7-Eleven today.
When we're in like episode 70 in a studio, just know
It'll
y'all
be-
know where we came from. Y'all know where we came from.
But yeah, I totally agree with you guys. I think they have a great coach too to implement what they're trying to implement with Monty Williams. I think they're doing it right over there. Monty's
But
great
I don't
for
like
that.
the management. I still don't know if I like management up there, because they still do a lot of dumb shit. But they got the right.
We'll see how they round out this core that they've built now, and see, like you said, if they can keep it together or if they're going to end up moving it right when it's going to get good.
I'll tell you right now, the Clippers. You
I really
can't. I don't care. You can't be in that position against Phoenix at the end of the game. Yes, Devin Booker made a crazy tough shot. More times than not, he's probably not going to make that. You can't be there, though. At the end of the game with Phoenix, I don't care if Pat Bev went down in the first. That doesn't matter against a team like Phoenix. You can't be in those positions. How you give up 53%? No, not 53%. What was
This
it?
shows how important Pat Bev is, though.
They don't rebound. Team rebounding does not exist when he's not there.
If Reggie Jackson could literally just pay attention, just pay attention on the glass.
They gave up 53%. 17 of 32 from 3 is what they shot.
Reggie
You can't have that. You cannot have that.
Attention on the defensive glass. He just stands there like looking up, and then his
defensive
his man
rebound
gets
battle,
long rebound, dude. Like,
I'm over Reggie Jackson personally. Like, I told you guys that from the jump. I was not that high on him. Like, he's a good player and whatnot, but
I think for the most part he's done his job. But no, Zach's right though. He does not rebound.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm with Terrence.
If healthy, he's not going to be playing 35 minutes a game.
It doesn't matter. Even when he only plays 25 minutes or 20 minutes or 18 minutes, he's not making the impact I'm looking for. Like, that's just the only way I play. He's not making the impact I'm looking for. He's not even focused on the rebounding. He's not a great defender. Like, I need you. And he's not a great set shooter. So it's like, I need you to start doing at least one of those things.
It just wasn't an upgrade. You thought it was an upgrade, and it wasn't really.
I've been huge on Reggie Jackson, singing big Reggie Jackson praises, and it just hasn't come to fruition. And today, I was getting so frustrated watching the game. He just doesn't pay attention on the defensive glass. And if you look, Phoenix wins on the offensive glass tonight. They had like 11 or 12 offensive rebounds.
11-8.
Like,
I just said it. Yeah, 11-8.
come on.
Um, the one positive was Marcus Morris. The last two games, obviously, who didn't look good against the Pelicans game, but but Marcus Morris today for sure, like, is finally looking like he's starting to hit some shots, which is good.
Yeah,
like
he looked.
You're
like,
gonna need him.
I saw Adam Osland was like, he just looks confident in making quick decisions on the offensive end, which is what you want. The game's too fast at that level where when you start being indecisive offensively, you might as well just check out of the game because you're not going to be.
Absolutely. Whether you're shooting that shit or not, you better shoot it decisively.
To me, biggest takeaway from this game was Zoo played really well. Obviously, he made this stupid ass turnover, but Zoo played well. He's their best. Like, obviously, I think in basketball you need a big man to win. It's like that's why we'll talk about it with Houston when we get there. But you need a big man, and Zoo's the big for that team, and they're gonna have to play him and trust him more. Like, I don't know why it's so much short minutes for him. Like, I think Zoo should play a little bit longer.
They played him down the stretch today, which was nice.
I don't know if it's just his stamina or whatnot, but he just needs more minutes. Maybe Doc is just gradually trying to give it to him because he definitely should be playing late down the stretch. Like you said, it was nice to see him playing late.
He played 24 minutes today. That was good for 4.
But that also has to do because Trez isn't here. But I don't know. I don't know. I really like Zoo.
Worried at all after the Suns loss? Are we worried?
This is what I'm not like, no, in the long run, no. But this is what I'm not fucking with is like, okay, Pat Bev goes down again. And you had to work Lou Will in today. I mean, Lou did 20 minutes, which is solid. But like we've said all year, like, well, don't worry. You know, they've been playing banged up all year. Well, now we got 4 games left until the playoffs. Like, when is this? We're gonna get it, and we'll all be here together playing like. And we're just gonna turn it on. I
hate the flip the switch mentality. I hate it. It's so there's a lot of room for error there, and it's like when you get to the playoffs, there's not a lot of room for error. So like you're kind of playing a risky business game now.
In November, December, yeah, like this shit don't worry me. You know,
you can't flip the switch against Toronto.
I got 5 games. That was our 3rd game back from now. I got 5 games before playoffs start. And you're going to tell me against, you know, in a series against Houston, OKC, Denver,
Dallas.
I think they could beat all those teams by flipping the switch.
Whoever it's going to be in the first or second round, like, okay, what if the fucking wires are bad? What if that switch don't fucking flip right? Those teams, you're not going to just squeak out wins. I don't think those teams
are good enough to beat any of them. The team that they're playing in first round is most likely going to be Dallas.
And that's what worries me.
They could have a bad series and beat Dallas.
Dallas is done in 5.
But like, they could have a bad series and beat Dallas. Like,
yeah,
like I agree Luka and Porzingis. Like, Dallas has a good young team they're building and whatnot, but they're a 7th seed for a reason.
I think we're an awful matchup for Dallas. We have 2 of the best wing defenders, and like your wing is what's running everything through Luka. So like you said, we could have a bad series, and I still feel like we're going to take care of Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, okay, so now you've played bad against Dallas, and now you got Houston lined up next, and it's like, well, fuck it. Now we got to turn it on now. Like, you need to start being in form already. Like, it can't keep waiting and pushing.
I think if you beat after the first round, I think I would guess you're in rhythm and you're not turning the switch on anymore.
Yeah, it's a little.
But that's what worries me is the games like today. Like that shit got to be cut out by now. Got to be cut out.
It's been that way in the season. That's the load management stuff, though. That's the way having players inter switch and whatnot. Because I keep seeing people who talk about the Lakers. I mean, not the Lakers, the Clippers chemistry and whatnot. I don't think it's any chemistry issues on the team, but it is a lack of familiarity because these guys just haven't played with each other enough. And then you get hit with a pandemic. Shit is weird, dude. Like, It was a new team. Like, this was a new team. Literally not most of them. When they brought in Kawhi and PG, your 2 main pieces got brought in this year, but yet you haven't really got a chance to really play all of them together, and it's a weird situation.
And then you bring in Morris. Yeah, and then you bring in Morris. I have a few Hoops fans, Laker fans, asking me like, "Oh, you're worried? You're so worried after tonight's loss?" And I was like, "I'm not worried. I'm annoyed. Like, I'm just annoyed that we have to have these conversations. That now I have to have it in the back of my mind that this team doesn't always turn it on when I like. And to me, I think now is when you should really be playing more and more with urgency, more and more playoff style minutes. That way you hit the ground running going into Dallas series, you know? And I just don't like this late in the year kind of playing. And I think this goes to the coaching staff. Like, this is Doc, Rex, and Ty Lue not being hard enough on the guys, like not bringing it out of them, not bringing out a sense of urgency in themselves to bring down to their players. You know what I'm
Is
saying?
that something on Kawhi?
Maybe
don't
that
know.
Kawhi is
I
not
think
so much of a vocal leader because Kawhi is going through the motions the first
It
two
may
games.
not even
Today
be
was the
that.
hardest I've seen him play since he entered the bubble.
It may just be the whole like perception that Kawhi has brought with the load management and everything of this flipping the switch perception.
Right. I'm like, but I think you know this when you would go. It's not like we don't know that that's the kind of guy Kawhi is. So that's why you need Paul George, Pat Bev, like the more vocal type dudes to light that fire because you already know Kawhi is just gonna be laser focused. I don't do that. I'm the robot. That's why you have the other guys that are more vocal to do that, and I think it's more on them than it is Kawhi.
Here's a better question: do they need a third star?
No. This
They got a
team right
team
now
full of
is fine.
stars.
Yeah, this team's full of
No, they have 2 stars. They don't have a team full of stars. They have 2 stars.
2 stars and
And a
a
bunch
team
of good
full of really
players.
good players. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
But,
don't
like,
think it needs a third star. No, not at all.
I'm funny.
I
How
think
many teams
this
right now
team-
do have 3? You know what I mean?
No one really. I think this team, the way it's constructed
Mhm.
right now, is a championship team.
Absolutely.
I fully believe that.
Depth.
I-
You have.
I think they can win.
pieces.
I think they can win for sure. I was just asking, wondering what y'all think.
Do I want a third star? Sure. Like if you got one somewhere,
For
let's
the
do
low.
it.
At times, I wonder if they need a third star. At times, but
What do you think? If I could, let me flip the question back to you. Do you think they need a third star?
at times, I think they need a better point guard. I've told you guys that all year. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a star, but I do think they need a better point guard.
How good would Ricky Rubio be for this team?
Nah.
Yes. What? That's everything we need. A facilitating guard, like guy
Nah.
that can really come in here, win you games, and run offense. Like
He ain't knocked down enough. Well, the way he was shooting today and recently, I guess. But
I'm not asking him to like shoot a lot. I'm asking him to cruise it around and get this guy feeling good and get that guy feeling good and get in transition. Like I feel like he does those things well, right?
yeah, Rubio.
Well, like who's more the person?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't have one on my top of my head. I would have to
Okay.
think. About.
Fair enough. I don't want to skip over Lakers Clippers games. I know we got homies and people. Like I said, I had Laker fans in my DMs after we lost. So let me give them their roses here. They beat us Thursday night. Never like losing to that team. Anything on that Lakers Clippers game? I don't want to like cruise over it. Like
I know it's just
much.
it's been almost a week and I still feel the exact same way. I feel like when I got done watching that game, I looked at it and said that team would get beat by the Clippers in 6 games, I would think. And then I watched LeBron struggle again against Toronto and I said, well, we do that too. Like he plays like that when he plays our team, he plays like that. Like if you can do that, if you can keep LeBron under wraps, which is asking a major feat of one of the greatest basketball players to ever touch the goddamn hardwood ever. But that's basically what they've done all year. Like, I think the Clippers would win that series in 6 games. Is what I got
was
my feeling.
camping. I'm kind of going to leave it to you guys because you guys watched the game. So you guys go ahead.
I'm not gonna go too crazy with it. It was a really good game, but what I'm seeing out of LeBron is I'm not gonna say he's old, but he's not the same guy no more.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
starting
the
to see
first I've ever seen it. Is right now.
This is the first, and it's real. I don't care what anyone says because I guess last year wasn't a fluke. He's definitely starting to get older. And it's Father Time's undefeated. It's no knock on him, but
You're 17. Like shit.
bro, like if I would be worried if he weren't starting to
I was
lose.
going to say, if not now, then when?
Like test this man. Like, why is he not losing a step? But like it's not a big step. I'm not saying LeBron's washed or nothing of that. He's still honestly the best player in the world, but he isn't quite the same player anymore. And AD's gonna have to take a lot of that pressure off of them, which I think he has that ability to do. And we'll really get into that a little bit later. But I don't know. Like I've been just watching LeBron. It's just interesting because like when he plays against the best teams who are top defensive teams, he's struggling mightily. Like
Yeah.
and it's no secret.
That's
Be it they win that game, but he's struggling.
I
like-
saw this when I watched that game. The Clippers have nothing for AD, but unless you're Giannis, I don't know who has the tools to really guard AD. Like I don't even know who really has those tools out there. Maybe you put Kawhi on him, slow him down, but the height is gonna beat Kawhi. I feel like
AD
his height and
doesn't-
length.
LeBron does.
But right, but like AD beat the Clippers the other night is what I saw for sure. Like AD was the guy that beat them. He was unstoppable, put us in foul trouble, which was a whole nother thing. The whole first half was officiated like shit.
LeBron won that game for them though.
But LeBron, I didn't see it at all. He did not play well to me. Like I didn't see it. It was
He didn't. Well, he didn't play well, but at the end of the day, LeBron won that game for them though. Like he made the big plays down the stretch, like the great players supposed to do. But AD, I don't know. Like it's no knock on AD, whatnot.
Yeah, but
I
on
get
the
what
other
you're saying.
end, I don't know if the Lakers have a perimeter defender good enough to guard Paul or Kawhi George, or Kawhi Leonard for that matter. Like I don't know.
Dragon Ball Z shit.
Right. Let alone one of them. Like I don't know if you have one guy to keep one under wraps. I don't know if you have one. Like, and there's two of them out there, and I don't see one perimeter defender. LeBron is selective with his defense, and yes, when he had those moments, he fucking locked the other
Oh,
night.
he ain't doing that all game. Hell no, it's impossible.
Not a
He
chance.
ain't doing that all game.
He picks and chooses his moments now.
They said
Right.
LeBron
He did
was
it
laid
well.
out on the floor exhausted after that game in his hotel room. They said he was laying on the floor exhausted after that game. So.
When he had the play where he kept Morris in the corner and it was just like put him in jail over there, and then the last play when he switched with Kawhi and P and all that, like great, but he can't do that every possession, and that's what I'm thinking. Like guys like Kuz, the other twin, Morris twin, I don't know if Caruso.
They need Avery. They miss Bradley a lot.
They do, at least to slow, because Avery can at least maybe slow down like a Paul or something, but they don't have that right now, and that's
Caruso.
The Clippers counter I thought was like, okay, well, we have nothing for AD. Good luck stopping our wings. And obviously Paul started cooking. Kawhi did not look engaged like that. He was, he played well, but I've seen Kawhi play much better, especially against the Lakers. So
here's what's so crazy about this matchup to me is when I watch these two teams separately, even with them losing, the Clippers losing to the Suns right now, I still feel like this. When I watch these two teams play other teams separately, I think, holy hell, the Clippers could beat the Lakers in 5 games. I swear to you, I believe it. Then I watch the two teams play each other, and it's like back and forth.
Yeah, I agree.
It's something about this series where it's like Yankees Red Sox. No matter what, for some reason, it feels like it's always going to be a 1-run game. Like Giants Dodgers. The Giants have a AAA team out there, and they beat the Dodgers twice. Like it's something about these two teams getting together. They play so good. Because I watched the Lakers get thrashed by the Raptors, and I'm like, it's really LeBron, AD, and some average-ass NBA players around them. Like, how do they win so many games? And then I watch them play the Clippers, and I'm like, damn, these average guys are really playing well. And that's credit to AD and more credit to LeBron. LeBron makes everyone around him so good that you rise to the occasion when you're playing a better team, when you're playing a top team like the Rockets.
Can't let LeBron down.
All of a sudden, the Lakers are playing so good. It's like, it drives me crazy this series because I watch them play separately and I'm like, God, the Lakers aren't that good. And then I watch them play the Clippers and I'm like, damn, the Lakers are pretty good.
Right. The game against Toronto, I texted both you guys. I said, it makes me so mad when obviously nobody likes to see the Lakers lose more than I do, but it makes me mad when I see them lose like that against the Raptors, because then the whole night I'm thinking like, how did they beat the Clippers? Like, how did they do, and how did they look so well doing it? Exactly. I think you nailed it with that. LeBron James.
Man.
So
yeah, and that's why, like I got some Laker homies that bring it out of me and I got to say some outlandish shit, right? And I'll be like, man, we're going to beat you guys in 5. But then I really think about it and I'm like, we all know when that series comes down to it.
I watch the Lakers all the time and I'm like, man, this team's not that good. They're not that good. But then, like you said,
they play good defense. They play good defense. I won't knock that. Like team defense.
Because
it's like all LeBron teams.
It's a team defense thing.
I don't need a really good team. Like LeBron has always been like that. I don't need a really good team. I got heart. I'm a fucking dog. I'll pull the train as far as he needs to go. Like get in line. So it doesn't matter. Now he got AD, who's a monster. So it's like the key to the Lakers is gonna be AD. Like we all know that because obviously LeBron's missing a step. It's like, can AD really be that guy?
Right into that right now because that was the topic we had later. We saw Colin talking about it, and you said you sort of agree. We're not the biggest Colin train over here. I was actually the Colin guy for a while, and then I got off that train because he started saying some crazy stuff. But Colin said he doesn't think AD has any dog in him, and that's why the Lakers won't win. And it kind of started a conversation between some people, and Terrence and I and Jake. What do you guys think? Is there a dog in AD?
I see. The thing to me is that's such strong words.
I know.
Like, this guy has no dog in him, so I don't like getting on the side of strong words. So I'm gonna not say it quite like that, but I do. Like I said, I do agree, kind of in a sense, what Colin was saying though, because if you look at what AD was doing in New Orleans, like he had opportunities to pull that team. Like if we're gonna say he's a dog, like you gotta advance your teams and do some absurd shit. Like, and he wasn't necessarily. That's why he wanted out to come play with another superstar. That's not a bad thing, but to say that he's like It's just levels to it. We always talk about it's levels to everything. Only certain guys should get that label as a dog because it's
Yeah.
only some guys.
To me, it's a very prestigious title to have in the NBA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not everybody's a dog. It's certain guys that walk in the gym, and the best players shrivel when that guy walks into the gym because
They give
it's
the
levels.
side the double take.
Yep. Like for example, just like think about it with Kobe. We all know Kobe was a super dog. He will play against the next best two guard in the league, and that guy is shriveling because he's next to him. Or like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is a prime example of a dog. Dude can go into Sunday's last day down 5 strokes in his prime.
But if you see him on the leaderboard, your shots
They're
start going right. Your
because they
shot
know
starts
this
going
man-
left.
You hear the Jaws theme song, dun 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 dun. He's coming.
On me, there's blood in the water. He smells it.
Like it's that fear and perception. So I don't know if anybody should always label this guy as that dog mentality, but it's AD doesn't lead the way I perceive my leaders to be. I want guys who are fiery and like just a little bit more turned up. That doesn't seem to be AD's approach. So I guess it's just my take on leadership.
I thought it was interesting timing to go, like you said, with strong words and to play that card when this is the first run AD has ever had in his career where he probably really feels like he's got a chance.
But see, I don't like that though. If you're a
feel
dog,
like-
it
but
shouldn't
that-
matter.
Yeah, maybe, but maybe someone bringing this up like this, and you have a real chance now, and then you hear someone like Colin call you out. That might bring some dog out of you that you didn't know you had, or that might bring you to a level if you're that guy. So I was thinking like, I could see what you guys are saying, and I'm not against it, but I really thought this was the playoff run to where you really play that card now. Like if AD comes out and he's just a good player and he's not really excelling that team and taking them over the top, I think we have visible proof now that he's really not a dog. But I think there is a chance you could see AD pop the hell off and really play 1A, 1B to Braun, and you could have a very different perception of him after this playoff round. I thought it was really risky timing to go play that card from if you were calling and stuff. But I could, like you said, I guess I can see where you're coming from. This is what's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it's just AD's amazing. Like, let's not get it wrong. Like, this dude's absurdly talented. He's generational. It's just the mentality. Not everybody has that mentality to will their teams no matter what to get the win. Because you obviously seen in New Orleans, he didn't do that. Like, not everybody has that ability in them to just will their teams no matter what. That's really what a dog is to me. And that's LeBron has that in him because obviously he's carried his teams to the championship that had no business being there.
And it's interesting because Kawhi is a bona fide dog. You're not going to tell, right? But he's a quiet. But But I said this in the text earlier, like it's something about him where he just exudes dog out of his pores when you see him lock into a game. And he's not vocal. He's not going to grab a lot of technicals. Sure, he'll scream on an and one, but he's not
vocal.
crazy.
Zach. I mean, he
not
doesn't
crazy.
speak.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's borderline mute when he's playing. But
Dude, looked at more as so hard.
I'm saying. And it's like, but for some reason, when you watch him, you can just see that dog exuding out of his body, out of like the energy that he brings. And I don't get that all the time from AD. I don't always get that from AD. So it's interesting. I think this is a pivotal playoff for his kind of perception around the league.
Facts.
Agreed.
All right. So
we'll go for LeBron as well. It's a big for both of them.
Isn't it so crazy how we're in year 17 and we're still
before
like
we move
how
on.
pivotal LeBron's playoff pushes are? Like
What's
it's so
crazy about this playoff push feeds a decade-long narrative about the East and weak and like, well, you couldn't get it done in the West, and it's like, okay, last year, whatever. I don't give him the excuse that his team was injured, but whatever, or that you were injured. You got injured. You got injured. That's fine. This year, like, if he theoretically doesn't do it, like. You got to eat that. You got to eat that message that like, yeah, you went to 8 straight in the East. Even if I don't agree with it,
over here,
that narrative does exist at that point to an extent.
The champ is in the East, and it might come from the East again. So,
ooh, that's spicy.
It might. Toronto looks amazing.
Toronto looks good.
All right, wait, because I want to talk about this, okay? Because we're about to get into teams that look good and teams that look bad. Not Memphis. Milwaukee looks really good, but that last shot went to Middleton. It went to Middleton, which is fine. He's a great shooter. He's their second best player. But personally, I think it's time to let Giannis start firing these last second shots up. I know he's not a high,
or at least make that play.
I know he's not the high level shooter that you want to be. He's obviously not, but he's more than capable. If this guy is generational like we think he is, special players make special shots. no matter what their skill level is, because they're just fucking special. We seen early in LeBron's career, he wasn't the greatest shooter, but they were still letting him take these shots, and he was banking in threes from damn near like 30 feet. Because special players make special shots. It's a reason why you are who you are. It's levels to it. Yeah, and it's like, give Giannis the ball. Let's not. A, he's gonna leave because every great player wants the ball in his hands. Two, it's gonna get to the point to we're gonna start talking about it even more and more and more. You gotta start giving that man a ball.
This is what worries me about Giannis. Is he's got a little bit too much LeBron in him, where he doesn't have a move he can go to win the game right there. When that possession, last possession, and everyone's zoned in on you, he's not moving the defense left or right, creating a lane, creating a space for him to get to the rim or to open up a jump shot, a step back, whatever. Like, he's got a little bit too much bull in a china shop, and James Harden clamped it down in like the most crucial part of the game. And it's like, if I want you to take this team to the next level and win the championship and take Milwaukee where everyone thinks you're going to take them, you got to have something in your bag right there.
You got to find a way to get by him and get like your game
or get it off. Like, Devin Booker didn't get by anybody tonight, but he got the shot off and he made the shot.
Game is I got to get in the lane, right, and I got to, and it's like you really don't need the most room because of his athleticism, and it's like you have to find a way, like Zach said, to shift somebody one way or another to get in that lane. Like, you have, otherwise you're a guy out there with no moves. You're just a guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they need to put the ball in his hands and tell him, like, dude, it's okay. Shoot your jump shot. Make or miss.
Like Terrence said,
we're living with it tonight.
That's what Terrence said he loved about Booker tonight, right? Like, that the Suns gave the ball to the best player and said, "Go win the game, get it up."
Yeah, I live and die by that. I'm not
make them collapse to you, Giannis, and then yes, you can pass it to Middleton, I guess, and deal with that stigma or whatever. But like, you have to be the one making that play. Has to be Giannis.
Like, I used to knock LeBron for always making the right play. It's like, man, I like you making the right play, but it's a reason why that guy was open. It's like teams wanted him open. You're the best player in the world. You're the best player on the floor. Sometimes you gotta make
5 minutes. That's fine, but make the basket.
Like, at the end of the day, I want my best players taking the last shot. That's just, maybe it's because I grew up watching Kobe, Jordan, and the players doing that. But I want my best player taking the last shot, make or miss. We'll live with it. It's the reason why you're the face of the franchise.
Sometimes the right play is the bad shot. And that's weird.
It's nice you kick it to Steve Kerr sometimes, but man, I'm more times than not, bro. I need that one coming out of your hands. Like, I need you to.
It's the reason why we let you shoot it 25 times earlier
at the end of the game. You know what I mean? Like, the right play isn't always the right play at the end of the game. You can make all game, but when I need you to go win me the game, win me the game. You know what I'm saying? Don't set up Chris or JJ or whoever to win us the game. I need you, the man of my franchise, to win me the game right now. Absolutely. Like, I like that mentality, like Terrence said.
But I will agree with what you guys said, though. He ain't got the moves right now. But I say isolate my man at the top of the key and Giannis. It's okay. Shoot your shit. Please don't airball, though. God, it's going to be bad if you airball. But shit, Kobe shot a few airballs early. Just shoot it, bro. It's all right. Just shoot it.
Hit the back down turnaround, like, so you can get it off.
Giannis needs to start jumping on jump shot. That's one thing I really think he should do. His jump shot's too flat. They're just damn near 7 foot. Like, you'll be shooting down at the rim if you get some air under your shot. Be it, I'm not a pro or a pro shooter, but that's my tip. Giannis, take it.
Yeah. Definitely got to get some air. So to get to good teams, bad teams type stuff, that's what we wanted to get to today since we're bubbles up and popping. We've got a few games. How crazy. I mean, we'll just get into who I'm sure we both have on our good team and bad team list, right? The worst possible start for Memphis, just like we said. They definitely, I'm sure they lead all of our bad team list. I'm sure they lead all of our bad team list. And then what's great is, like, it's happening just how everyone said. Sure, yes, the Blazers are 1-1, but you can't not have them on your good team list. They are playing
and they look good.
Basketball. Yes, they are playing good basketball.
They play Houston tonight, and it's going to start here pretty soon.
So that's like a good and a bad. Outside of those two teams, is there anybody else? We'll circle back to Portland because I'm sure we are.
You guys know me. I was big on it before the bubble. I thought they were playing great basketball. I am huge on Oklahoma City. Like, I'm huge on them. I'm not. I am so big on Oklahoma City. Like, I don't want to. They might be the top of my don't want to see in the playoffs list. Is that, like, obviously other than Lakers, Denver, you're big. Like, I don't want to see them.
I don't want to see Houston because they have so many matchup problems. They're running this weird style. They got two guys that can get you 40 anytime, so they can combine for 80 points any given damn night or more. Because Harden. We all know Harden can get 60.
I think that's another team on my good list. Is definitely Houston.
That's definitely on my good team. It's like that team has shown. I don't know.
Here's what's crazy though. He
ain't really got a contract right now. D'Antoni's just coaching. If you guys didn't know that, he got paid out basically. He doesn't even have a contract right now. So
literally coaching
he's just-
for his life. Like,
yeah, he's just coaching right now. He's
Here's
gonna
what's
be a free
crazy.
agent.
Like and I don't know. It's like if I was a Houston fan, I feel like I'd be spinning this to say this is how good they are. But like, they're a made free throw away in fucking the Dallas game, 0-1 right there. Like, they stormed back against that Milwaukee game. They were losing the whole fucking game. Like, they had to storm
But
back.
they
with,
won.
Like, I know,
Back.
but
They got
that's what's
buckets.
fucking nuts to me. Like, that's what's so like. I'm watching the whole game and I'm like, I don't know anybody who's ever watching it. Me, I talk to myself and out loud the whole game, and I'm just like, I'm telling the TV, like, I'm telling you, they ain't got no big men. They ain't gonna do shit for Giannis. Like, what can they do when this happens? And then literally the last 2 minutes of the game, I'm like, that's some of the greatest basketball I think the greatest, most unselfish basketball. Extra pass, bang three, hustle, rebound, tip, knock it off the glass, run that rebound down. Like, I'm like, oh my God, they just won the game. They just stole the game. They just absolutely
We talked
fucking
about it
hijacked it.
on the greatest scorers list, and I'm so glad I put Harden on there because
Well
that
deserved.
man really is special. Like, whew,
I can
he
enjoy
really
watching
got
it, but he gets it.
moves on move. Shit, when he's not trying to draw absurd fouls and he's just out there hooping, oh my God, that man can score. Like,
It's only a small percentage.
he got his like fast twitch is absurd. He has so many moves on top of moves on top of moves. Like, he'll hit a defender, hit the next defender, bucket. Like, whoo,
the
yeah.
crossover combinations are like deep. I'm like,
It'll
we're
be
4,
crossover,
5, 7
crossover.
moves deep.
And then Euro, like crossover, oop, Euro, bucket. Oh shit, damn, James, like that's
Double step back and 1-3. Like,
Do
huh?
you still trust him? I still don't trust him, and I want to.
I'm
I
starting
don't know
to.
if I trust him, but
I'm starting to.
Gianna, go at your neck. Like, in this bubble environment with everything being weird, and you got your bench firing you up, those guys are gonna keep you fired up all the time because they're going at you. Like,
I'm definitely starting to
Portland
believe.
tonight.
I'll tell you right now, I'm definitely
would that
starting to
change
believe.
Would that change you at all in any way or the other? If they lost by 18 to Portland tonight,
18?
18, they get blown out.
Yeah, I would tell you I'm definitely not believing anymore. But I expect Portland to play well tonight. Like, I expect a
Zach's
close
belief
game.
is hanging by a thread.
No, you said 18-point L. Like, that's not a thread. That's like some supernova shit that you're asking me that's gonna happen.
in the
like,
playoffs by 18. I would worry then.
they
None
were
of these games
They were like
right
a 5-point favorite on Bovada this morning. Yes, if they dropped the game by 18, I would be slightly worried. If they dropped the game by 5, no, I'm not worried.
In 2 games, like, they're a missed free throw in like 2 minutes and 12 seconds of clock away from being 0-2. That's what's nuts to me.
To me, right now, outside of like the teams that need to win games to make it into the playoffs, I think everybody's just trying to get in the rhythm. It's obvious if you heard the stories of the Lakers, they're not even doing shoot-arounds right now. Like,
That's weird.
those dudes are just, which is really weird. I think that's going to come back to hurt them. But overall, teams are just trying to get back in the rhythm and just smooth back in. So I'm not really worried about teams winning and losing. Houston pretty much is set where they're at in the seeding.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bless you, Jay.
they're just trying to.
Dang.
They're just trying to get there, but
So yeah, I just want to say, circle back to Portland because I know that's probably at the top of everyone's good list. Nurk, like a healthy Nurkic is so pivotal for them. It's insane how much better they are with a healthy Nurkic and a want to play basketball Melo.
when I look at Nurkic, I'm like, damn, Denver, you really were drafting well because they drafted him. Like, golly, Denver. You were in your bag. Your scouting department is amazing because just look at Denver's roster currently, and then they had Nurkic as well with Jokic at the same time. That team, shout out to your scouting department. Y'all know what the hell y'all doing over there,
Especially with the bigs.
boy.
So speaking of Denver, team we were all crazy hyped on during the scrimmies.
MPJ.
Right, great game. If anybody watched, that might be game of the bubble so far, by the way. That Denver OKC game was absolutely phenomenal, back and forth the whole way. Christopher Paul missed free throw down the stretch. OKC, if he doesn't miss it, that game does not go to overtime, and OKC wins. They're a missed free throw from 0-2. Are we still hyped on Denver? Like, does their
I'm
game
still
play?
okay there. I'm not over there.
They
I
lost
don't
bad to
think
Miami
Denver's
out the gate, and then that OKC game.
title, but because I don't think Denver's quite ready yet, and they need Jamal Murray back. He's coming off tight hamstring and everything, but
And Barton.
it's like
Will
their
Barton
best
too.
players. Yeah, like their best players, honestly, like the guys we keep talking about, which is MPJ and Bol and whatnot. those guys are rookies, like literally rookies. So I'm not necessarily expecting them, but in this bubble, it's weird. But I'm not necessarily expecting them to come into the playoffs and actually beat and go to like the Western Conference Finals and win a championship and whatnot. But they're exciting and they're the team to look for in the future, in my eyes.
Yeah.
But it can get weird. The bubble's weird.
I mean, we were loving
Definitely
the
get
Denver
weird.
story in the scrimmage, so I just you got to bring him up. Joker's crazy.
So much game. He got
so much game. Especially for a big,
One-footed
it's all smooth.
sideways
and-
jumper. Count it.
He takes it off the glass and just brings it up. Like, all right. And when they just get into their set, it's amazing. Like, they're just right into their set. He just brings it up. Like, all right, whatever the play is. Give me blue,
nuts.
blue 14, blue 14.
Dribble in with like the hand up, you know, like hey.
Exactly. Like, it's crazy. Like letting people pass so he doesn't get the ball taken from him. I'm like, oh my god, this is your center doing this. Like, what?
This week in basketball memes, who saw the meme of it's the Soldier Boy dribbling, and it said this is how Pascal Siakam bringing the ball up.
That was so accurate because if Siakam looked like he got no handle, but he got handles. Like,
It's all like a ploy. He just does that and waits for someone to bite, and then it's like quick crossover in the lane. Like
he got a nasty game, but Siakam's buckets.
Shout out to Toronto. We didn't touch on them too much, but like Nick Nurse should get Coach of the Year. That team's just so quietly defending the title. Shout out to them. And Fred Van Vliet just went for 30+ career high. Shout out Fred. Great game.
Yes, sir. I just want to touch on it real quick because people are assholes. Injuries suck. Jonathan Isaac injury sucks. No matter what you feel about the guy, because he had already had a left knee injury, worked back to try to get back out there. That's fucked up. So to celebrate anybody injury, you're a shitty person.
I mean, he said like that weird religious thing, which is fine. He's very devout with his views.
It
wasn't my cup of tea. I'm sure it wasn't a lot of people's cup of tea. I don't think it was the worst thing that could have been said. I don't think it was that drastic. So terrible timing to kind of be under the public eye and then to have that injury. I'm with you. I feel for the kid.
Yeah, no matter what he believes in, doesn't matter. Injuries fucking suck. You don't want that to happen to anybody. It's a catastrophic injury to a player. ACL tear, I believe. He had already, like I said, he had already hurt it. No, that's not him.
Oh, the pitcher got Achilles. Sorry.
Yeah. Speaking of that, shout out to Mike Soroka.
Soroka.
Braves had him on our fantasy team last year. Followed his whole career as a
recovery there as well. Shouts out from the other team, man. Love you.
Towards
love
Achilles.
You guys play. And hate seeing you get hurt. So we touched last episode or the episode before. We had the Ben Simmons talk. You guys know me. I love my chance to bang on Ben Simmons and call him overrated. Shout out Wayne if you hear, because I know that's going to get under your skin. The homie Wayne loves Ben Simmons and hates that I always talk about him. So I had a good question from, again, another shout out for DK and Brandon, bringing some content to the pod. He said, who else, when we were talking about the episode personally, and he said, well, who else is kind of overrated that you can kind of bring into this conversation? Because I don't really know who else you're kind of thinking of. You're only telling me Ben Simmons. And I kind of had a hard time off the top of my head bringing that full circle and thinking of other people. So I brought it to you guys, and we all thought it was great. So before we go any further, Ben Simmons the other night fouled out and had 8 points. Really tough night. Good timing for me, who just said he's not impacting later in the game. Or late in the year, he doesn't impact the game as well, and he's very easily to scheme up. Great coach like Popovich did indeed scheme him up. That's just me. But to get to the overrated players thing, I think this will be fun. Who does anyone go first?
I'll go first. I feel like I should because I actually did the homework. If you remember pre-show.
Wait, hold on. They were about to fight in that game though. Like Embiid and Shake Milton was about to fight. Yeah. Brett Brown, what the fuck are you doing? You need to get fired, dude. Like literally, fades are about to get up on your sidelines. Like chemistry issues been rumored with this team for years, and now fades are literally about to go up on the sidelines. I don't want to hear about Ben Simmons. He could obviously 8 points is his ass, but like that dude sucks, and they need to get him up out of there. Get somebody, get a better coach, get somebody better up in there.
Brett is losing that team. I think we've seen the writing on the wall for a while. I'm not going to say that Ben Simmons gets a full pass because of that at all.
No. 8 points, like I said, 8 points is ass.
He's way too good of a player to get that excuse, but I think that's definitely part of it. And I think the more it's happening is just like you say, like it's getting written on the wall. It's becoming very, very apparent the more they play together.
Al Horford in the offseason.
Al
Horford's a good player. Never made sense that they got Al Horford. That was absurd.
So go ahead, Jake. We're going to kick off this overrated list. Go ahead.
So Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert. I mean, and I've been on this train for a while. A while. Alex Caruso. I feel like Terrence might have also had that one weird because we were talking about that last night. And then I have 2 with question marks because I'm like, James Harden, but I think he kind of just proved me wrong for the 20th time. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he just made me put
He
my foot
doesn't make the overrated list. He's an all-time.
out.
And
might
then
beat that out.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so like he just keeps proving me wrong. That might just be personal. That might not be factual. That just might be personal, you know?
I think I got one of those too.
And then I put Giannis because like he just got exposed for no moves, and it's like I don't know. I need time. That's why I put question marks next to him because I was like, I think I need more time, but he might start trending that way quicker than we think. I think Harden, I put a question mark because it's personal and it's not true. It's more like I just don't like watching you play, so I'm almost rooting for your downfall so I can be proven right, which is a horrible way, but I'm just being honest, you know? But Giannis is like I don't know, like, you know, you're getting exposed a little. Maybe it's what Terrence said. We need to give him these opportunities, but like you're supposed to be the next GOAT, you know, GOAT guy. And we just ran the play for Chris Middleton instead of for you. I don't know. Maybe that speaks to that a little bit.
I like what you're saying about Giannis. I'm definitely not putting him on a list that's labeled overrated yet, not even with a question mark. But I think you're on the right track and like getting ahead of it and thinking there could be something there. I don't.
Like 3 years from now, I could feel that, or 2 years from now.
Maybe, I was gonna say maybe even a little sooner than 3. But yeah, I think you're on the right track. But I'm not jumping to put him on this list.
That's why I was just like getting exposed. It's personal. It's personal. That's why I'm like that's personal, and I just want you to be bad.
James Harden is a bucket.
Any problems with Gobert or Caruso?
Gobert, I would say it's overrated. But if you put Rudy Gobert on an elite team, that man will be a force. Like he's a great defensive anchor. He just can't do shit else. But he's a great defensive anchor.
Just like dunk bait, offensive package is so limited.
He could play for me, but I need would have to go more.
Give me Steve Adams. Steve Adams over Rudy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not against Steve. My overrated players, though, I would go with this guy isn't even overrated. It's just overrated on Twitter and it's people that don't know shit. It's Alex Caruso. Like, dude, he's not a bad player. I even told somebody that he was Matthew Dellavedova, and I guess it was seemed as an insult, but it's not really. Like, to me, he's exactly what Dellavedova was, and that's what LeBron is expecting and asking from Caruso, is to be this.
So pivotal during that chip. So pivotal, by the way.
To be like this pesky defender who cuts hard, makes backdoor cuts, isn't the greatest shooter, but knocks down shit just because he's this like gritty ass player. He's diving on the ball. He's picking cats up full court. But when you look in the box score, he only has 6 points. But it was like, damn, Caruso played well because he had a bunch of deflections and whatnot. And that's his game. But people are trying to compare him to Lou Williams and say he's better than that. That's why he's overrated. It's like, come on, guys. Like, that's just stupid to start putting guys in lanes that they're not. Like, Caruso's he's a good player, but it's levels. He's not that good. My other overrated player sucks because he was my boy, and I don't know if I feel he's truly overrated, but he hasn't proven enough. Because we talk about dogs and whatnot, I think he really might not be a dog because Jimmy Butler went over there and kind of made that dude look like he wasn't. And then even now, like Towns needs to do more. Like that, he's way too talented to not. Well, obviously I didn't even say it. Karl Anthony Towns is my, and it's like he needs to do more. He hasn't. He's a great player. He has all this skill in the world, but Minnesota sucks, and he needs to bring more to that team. Like if you're as great as we think, because what was it like 2 years ago? All the GMs in the league had that anonymous vote that they'll pick their franchise to like build around Karl Anthony Towns. It's like, well, if you get that kind of love, you need to be doing more than that. Mm-hmm. So. And then my last player is Donovan Mitchell. I'm not a Donovan Mitchell fan. Spider is overrated to me.
Ooh.
I don't know. I've always thought this. Like, he's
not player, the first time I'm hearing this from you.
Like, he's a good player and whatnot, but like, it's levels. Like, I'm not. Like,
I don't know if I feel confident putting Donovan Mitchell on this. I feel like it's almost like Giannis. Like, I still need 2 more years to really know that.
I feel like I know what kind of player Mitchell is. He's a 20-point scorer and whatnot, but I don't know how efficient that 20 is and how impactful that 20 is going to be every night from him.
Here's what's crazy to me is I feel more comfortable with Cat on that list than I do with Mitchell right now. And that's weird to me because Cat was, like you said, was such a perennial guy moving forward that everyone thought. And it's like, I agree that the lack of dog doesn't make me bummed that you're going to put him on this overrated list. Like, yeah, he's got all the talent in the world, but does he have the will and the mental fortitude to carry guys deeper than they should be going? And I haven't seen it in 7 years.
Do you think D'Lo will help that? Do you think D'Lo and him will be a good mix?
I think so. I think D'Lo has a little more dog than people think. I think he feels disrespected getting moved around the league.
But here's my thing: we already brought a dog in, and it didn't work.
Good.
We already.
Jimmy might be an asshole. He might just be an asshole.
I mean, he is,
Well,
but
certain guys just don't mesh. I don't think they would have worked together.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Shit.
What do you got, Zach?
I mean, if you guys, I guess that's a good segue. I won't start at the top. I'll start at who I had at 3. I got Jimmy.
I almost put Jimmy Butler on my list. I'm not against
It's the opposite of Cap. I think that because he is a dog or labeled as a dog, he gets more credit and more love than he actually produces on the floor. Like, he doesn't shoot great from 3, and everyone's going to let him pull all these threes and do that type of shit because he's got this like alpha mentality and this leader mentality that people perceive, but the production isn't there, and he's not
that great of a scorer.
He's not that great of a scorer, and he can't just run it. Like, he plays the same position essentially for his teams as Devin Booker, and you can't run your offense through him like you do. Like, you can run your offense through Devin Booker all game, and you'll probably score a lot of 120-point games. Your offense is going to look clean, like it did for the Suns tonight. They want every team Jimmy Butler goes to. They want to do that with him, and the offense just never translates to that smooth and that clean.
He looks good in Miami, though.
He does,
I
but
like what he brings.
I still think if you dive into it, like, the production still isn't there. Like, the impact on the game isn't there for me when it comes down to it. Yes, the DNA, like I said, and that's like where it gets misconstrued to me, is because he gives this like leader DNA, this dog DNA. I feel like he gets put amongst these class of guys that he's really not. He is really a little bit below them to me. So that's why I put Jimmy on my list.
Oh yeah,
like putting him
definitely tiers.
Right. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Is that what you was gonna say? Like putting him in a tier?
I was just saying. I like putting him
star. He's like a mid star, but people want to think of him as a superstar.
I think
he's like 2-3 tier.
You put the Bam in these young guys, but they're not young guys that are like we saw in Minnesota, who didn't have that type of personality to fit. Where like his toughness, like with Dragic, who's already a tough SOB, and Bam, who's one young tough SOB, like. They're making that whole young crew just like they fight every night. And when they play Milwaukee or whoever they play, the Denver game they played against, like, they're not stopping coming at you. Like, they come at you in waves, like a lot of good teams. I like that about him. Like, I like that he can influence my guys around me to be better like that.
Yeah, and I
fits for that type of team.
Yeah, like, he does. Miami is a good fit.
Because, like you said, like, Bam was an emerging player. When he went to Minnesota, it was all these expectations for Karl. And then they had Wiggins. There was all these expectations already for these young players. And Jimmy came in like, yeah, I ain't proved shit yet. So it was just not a good match. So when he went to Miami, all these guys kind of respected him, and because they haven't proven nothing outside of Dragic and whatnot. It ain't like Dragic is this crazy elite player. So it's like Dragic didn't even have a problem with it either. It seemed like. So that's a good point.
I obviously have Ben on there as well. He was like top of my list. We've already set ourselves up Ben. So I had 2 guys also that I put like at the bottom, like Jacob, kind of question marks. Mine aren't question marks. I feel like this is common knowledge, but I put them on the list. Harrison Barnes and Hassan Whiteside. Common knowledge that they're overrated NBA players.
Yeah, I think they got exposed. I don't know if they're overrated. They've just 2 guys that have been exposed for
who they are. Like, we don't have
who they are.
Overrated list anymore.
Who talks about Hassan anymore? Like,
yeah. But they get burn. They get serious burn in the NBA, so that's kind of like why I thought to put them on the list.
They get deserved burn for their talent, like.
Yeah. Okay. So like I had those guys like off the list. So the other guy that I put like on the list, which I know both of you guys are gonna hate right now, and I'm ready for this. Chris Middleton, overrated.
No, I love Chris Middleton.
Overrated.
I love Chris Middleton.
That's not that crazy to me.
I feel like in the big moments when he has his chance to save Giannis's ass and to be the guy that makes the shots, because Giannis isn't a shot maker. When he has that chance, I feel like I never see him hitting the big shots.
He's a third option, not a second option.
Thank you. That's how I want him to be. I feel like they want him to be a 2 so bad, and I just don't see it. Like that's one of those guys.
I'm a fan.
Where
I like Chris Middleton.
He's more mid-star to lower end star. And people want to put him up there because he's playing 1A, 1B, or he's playing Robin to Giannis in this powerhouse in the East. And I don't.
He's a 2 guard, correct?
He's a 2.
Okay, well, let's think about this. Rank the 2 guards in the NBA. He's probably like 7.
Exactly. I was gonna say like
What about
8
your
to
boy
10.
Spider? You taking Spider Mitchell over
I'll
Chris
take
Middleton?
I'll take
I'll
Spider.
take Spider over.
I don't
Absolutely.
know.
I'll take Spider over
I
Chris.
don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You
Absolutely.
put Spider in, to be honest with you, and I just had Loki put him on my overrated list. You put Spider in fucking Milwaukee, that team will be
And we're not
nice.
talking about Toronto. I'll tell you that much. You
Right.
put Spider in Milwaukee. We ain't talking about Toronto.
Spider
Like,
and Giannis together would be nice. Oh man, that would be nice actually.
man. So that's who I had. I struggled to
I
get
don't
5
agree.
guys. Like,
I don't agree
because
with Chris Middleton. I don't.
I just didn't want to like get too crazy and start risking guys.
I think we
like,
should
sitting on my
disclaimer
name.
like a lot of these guys. I guess the word overrated isn't the correct word because like Mitchell, Middleton, none of these guys are necessarily overrated. I guess we're just for the tiers. I guess we're just trying to rank them in the correct tiers because
Yeah, and I
none
think
of these
it's a
guys
little too
suck.
much from what I see. Yeah, I'm not saying like I don't want overrated to be misconstrued as a bad player. I'm just going off of like what it feels like they're looked at upon the NBA realm. I think they're a couple slots lower than what people are really thinking.
Because really, the only one on this list I truly think is overrated was Caruso, and it's just because
Yeah.
we're speaking of this
Gobert.
player as if he's, but like Caruso, we're just speaking, saying he's better than guys who won 6 Men of the Year multiple times. It's like, come on, man, like I gotta speak upon you on this point. Like that's crazy. Now, if he was like he's not better than XYZ player who's averaging 6 points like he is, then we could talk about it. But the man's averaging 5 points.
Yeah, he's not like Lou Williams.
2
is
buckets.
impact
2 buckets
guy.
and a free throw.
He's
Boy's on
Alex
fire.
just isn't that.
Cooking.
Damn, so much NBA talk though. It was good. It was good. The NBA is just so popping right now. Anything else before we leave the bubble? Anyone got anything? We good? We got our bubble talk out of the way. We're returning. Don't worry. We got games coming up. Bubble's getting good. It's getting fire. God, in 2 episodes we'll be out of the bubble into the playoffs? Does that sound about right?
I
2
believe
weeks?
so. I believe
Oh
so.
my gosh, I
I
can't
love
wait.
basketball early in the morning. Like
Yeah. Isn't it great that every
Like,
day is March Madness right now? Like you have NHL, MLB, NBA, something's popping off from basically 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's so good. Like
Persky.
if I'm going to be stuck in my house on quarantine right now waiting to go back to work, this is the type of TV I want all day, you know? So this was mainly a basketball episode, but there was some good baseball that happened. First and foremost, I know that it feels like it was so long ago. It was about a week ago. Dodgers and Astros kicked off, and we went over that all last episode. It definitely kicked off with the Joe Kelly incident. Everyone's, I'm sure, seen it by now. We all know. So Joe Kelly doesn't even get thrown out of a game, never hits anyone with a pitch, wakes up the next morning and suspended 8 games.
I ran a poll on our Twitter account that received 23 votes, and it said, "How do you feel about Joe Kelly and the Astros incident last night?" This was 1:00 the next day. The 2 options were "Abso-fucking-lutely, Joe," and "Just let it go." 96% of people agreed, like, "Absolutely, Joe. Abso-fucking-lutely."
What's crazy to me is they're suspending him for throwing at Correa, and he was a curveball. What major leaguer have you ever heard that wanted to send a message and hurt somebody and really hit them? Throw a curveball. Who has ever thought of that in their life? Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with 80 instead of 96. Like no one does that. If I want to hit you and I want to send the message, first off, if Joe Kelly wanted to hit somebody, someone would have got plunked. He wanted to send a message, and he did it in the most perfect way possible. And the MLB is so absolutely dumb and
Rob.
just they can't even see the game through a competitive lens right now. They're just so blinders on, where it was like, if literally anything happens in this Astros and Dodgers game, there's going to be heads to roll. And it's like, sure, Joe Kelly got fired up. 2 teams that hated each other got fired up because the pitcher struck out the batter and grabbed his nutsack on the way to the dugout, basically. Like, come on, dude. What are we doing, baseball? How can we not? That's a competitive edge right there. That's competition. That's what it's about. It's that moment is you guys staring at each other because this guy chucked a curveball over your head and you felt like it was an intentional, even though it was a goddamn slider. And then he comes and strikes you out and stares you down. That's baseball. That's nothing to get upset about. That's nothing to have guys lose money over, lose games over, suspensions, all that. That's absolutely absurd. That's literally competitive freaking baseball.
And here's the thing. If you would have suspended the players for any amount of time, basically, a lot of players wouldn't feel like Joe Kelly.
Yeah,
like
you're saying suspend the Astros for cheating.
Yes. Right. So they essentially got nothing. Now all the players who lost to them. No, was Joe Kelly a part of the Dodgers 2017 team? No, he was part of the Red Sox team, which the Astros won the American League. You don't think Joe Kelly went to war against those guys? You don't think they got tipped off of fucking Joe Kelly pitches? You're out of your mind. Or one of his best friends who was on the mound? That happens. And so yeah, no, it didn't cost Joe Kelly the World Series, but it could have cost him getting there, possibly. So he was fired up. He was mad about it. And you don't do anything, Rob Manfred, anything once. In the first slide of anything, you slap 8 games, which equivalent to this season is a 22-game suspension in a normal 162-game series, season. It doesn't make sense. Manfred, every time you think that Rob Manfred can't get worse, he gets worse. COVID thing starts happening, something that he has not taken any responsibility for. He hasn't gotten in front of a camera since February or whatever. He doesn't talk to anybody. He just, it's all this, that, and through reporters. You don't ever hear the commissioner say anything to anybody about anything. The second the Marlins start acting stupid, not reporting cases, and this, that, and the other, he goes and points the finger right at all the clubs and everything who are not handling it correctly. But you are the commissioner. You have to stand up there as the face and be like, hey, we're not handling this right. I haven't set a good form. There is you going up there and saying the next day, if the teams don't get this under control, the season's done. Well, why didn't you put forth a good plan beforehand? Like, your protocol was bunk. Every time. Every time.
He's an idiot. Like, can't express that enough. The man's an idiot. He's terrible for baseball. And the whole Joe Kelly thing, it's like, you guys already have no fans in general because your sport's so goddamn boring. Like, for people that don't love it, like, we're all baseball fans, so we'll watch it no matter what. But you're trying to appeal to people so hard, obviously, because you keep making all these stupid rule changes, when all you need in your sport is intensity. But the moment someone is intense, you want to suspend them and do dumb shit. So it's like, you don't even realize you can't read the room for anything, Rob. Like,
nothing.
You need to go. Like, you need to go. In my opinion, like, he's one of the worst commissioners in sports, if not the worst. And it's just stupid. Like, that suspension, like you said, it's equivalent to 22 games in this season. To suspend Joe Kelly for that.
For a fucked up curveball.
You would think if you're the commissioner of baseball, like, you would be able to look at a baseball game and have an idea and a feel for, like, the moment and understand
context matters.
Context matters. He took a 3-0 pitch to Bregman and chucked it up the screen like 40 feet behind his head. Everyone's like, Joe Kelly was headhunting. It was nowhere near Bregman's head. Yes, the pitch got away from him. He was definitely trying to send a message 3-0. He's like, if I'm gonna put this guy on base, I'm gonna scare him or possibly hit him or whatever. He chucked it way up the screen. It was like Bull Durham when he hits the mascot. Like, it was so far away from Bregman, dude. Like, ridiculous. Then he lets the game plan to Correa was clearly sliders only, no fastballs. He literally doesn't throw a fastball the whole count. Slider gets away, goes over the top. That's literally like a wild pitch. If you look at the inning, Joe Kelly had zero command of his fastball the entire inning. So when he got into a jam, him and the catcher, I want to say it was Austin Barnes in this situation, literally had decided, we're going a slider 9 times in a row. Every pitch to Correa is a goddamn slider. And he strikes him out. And what do you do? What does Joe Kelly do wrong? He strikes him out, stares him down, and walks directly to his own dugout. He didn't make an attempt towards the batter. He didn't look back and make an attempt towards the Astros dugout.
I love it.
He did exactly what all of us.
Mike his ass up.
If I was facing my mortal enemy rival, the team that I hate the most in my league, if I'm facing them,
the player on that team who I hate,
and that player that I hate, and I strike him,
who told my guy to shut the fuck up. Let's not forget this. That's all in context.
Absolutely, all in context. And I strike him out to end the inning, and he wants to look at me, and we're gonna have the stare off. I'm absolutely calling him a bitch, telling him he can't hit my shit and to suck it. I'm doing all that and above.
I'm also okay with anyone saying that, and regardless of the situation, I just like intensity in sports. So you could strike out Joe Blow and tell him to go sit his weak ass down. And I'm like, hell yeah, sign me up for that. I want to watch that.
Would have gone deep and grabbed his nutsack. KBO bat flipped it. How many games is he getting suspended when we get upset and we come out of our dugout? Absolutely zero. None of that's happening.
No. Hit a home run and talk about buzz that.
Exactly. And he's very warranted if he would have took a hanging slider deep to do all that because he had his team's back. That's all warranted and that's all part of the context. But the MLB is full of idiots and literally has no context. And now the Dodgers are sitting there with one of their better relievers on the shelf waiting for this thing to pan out.
Speaking of the Astros, have you guys seen Springer? That man can't see a pitch for shit.
It's crazy how when you don't know what's coming after you've known.
Altuve's playing like ass too.
Dude, they're all probably like a part of them is probably used to like knowing what's coming in big situations and kind of relying on that. And now they know they can never rely on that.
That and it's a mental thing too. Like they have to be thinking. It's so much pressure on them right now. Those dudes are going through it, and it's like that's what happens.
They got off easy. It's easy. It's so easy how they got off. They should be getting booed in every ballpark. Hard booed.
Yeah, they got off easy, but it's a mental game. Baseball, out of most sports, like golf, I feel like golf is the only other mental. Well, I wouldn't say the only, but the most mental sport is golf. I would feel like, and then like baseball is right up there.
If you're not right up here, you're not going to touch a major league pitch. I'm telling you, like, there's no way. It's too hard. It's too hard to hit it, like, when you are right up here and you do feel good up here between the ears. Like, let alone, like you said, when you're going through it and you have to prove a point and send a message to prove to people that you really are a good player. Oh, my God, they're going through it. And absolutely deservedly so.
Yeah, they deserve it. It sucks, but it's like, yeah, well, you make your bed, you got to go sleep in it.
Absolutely. I know Jake touched on it. If you guys want to talk about like the COVID handling real quick. I mean, the only thing I have to say is like Cardinals were at the casino. The Marlins are at the bar. Like, come on, y'all. Like, take it seriously. We all want like everyone. There's, and I'm not even saying that just as fans.
Lap dance too.
Like, I love the game, and obviously I want to see it. But like, I'm thinking of it for the guys that are.
That's not dance, Lou.
The guys that are in the clubhouse that are like taking it seriously and like trying to win, like that's kind of messed up to them. Like now they're on the shelf, they're getting cold, you know, or the team that you were supposed to play has to get cold now because your team didn't want to handle their business. And now I could be rolling into your city hot and I don't get to play this weekend because the whole thing's on the shelf. Like just the whole thing from the top of Major League Baseball to the players and the teams involved in it. I think it's all bogus. You guys go ahead and have your run.
They got it like with COVID, they get. Obviously, like you're having teams get infected, like they're gonna have to shut it down. Like I don't know.
I'm worried we won't have a season,
waiting for,
or we won't finish it. I'm worried we won't.
They'll have a season, but they need to shut it down, get things in control, like everybody else. I don't get why baseball's in such a rush. You just started your season. You have so much time to play with, but they're in such a rush. Like it wasn't like the NBA. The NBA had to finish their season. Mm-hmm. You guys are starting your season, so what is this big rush?
Man,
you got
politics and values deeper at hand than I think I know, and you got a big dumbass running the whole thing. It's recipe for disaster.
I do want to talk about the good news, though. My man, Aaron Judge. If anybody knows who watches us or knows me, I'm a fantasy baseball guru. Had that man before he came up, so I'm a big-time Aaron Judge fan. And that man just walks into baseballs, and they leave the stadium. 5 in a row, 5 home runs in 5 straight games. Well, a home run in 5 straight games, I should say. He homered in multiple. He homered twice in multiple of those games, I think.
Yeah.
No, he homered twice. It was 6 in 5 days. He homered twice in that Red Sox game on Sunday night.
The last game, wasn't it? It was the last game there. Yeah, 6 in 5 games. That's stupid.
And he's got like the Giancarlo effect, where like when he hits the ball hard and it's scary and it's impressive. Like
he hitting them out, not even getting all of them either. Like he hits a lot of home runs that he didn't even get all of it.
The one to right field against the Red Sox was just like it almost looked like a broken bat pop up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, no one's gonna catch that thing.
That's a big dude, man. Him and
oh wait, that's 16 rows up. Fuck.
Like that, the Yankees are dangerous. They got bats.
Yeah.
But
it's just they're so. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well deserved love that he needed.
The Yankees, like he hasn't lost a regular season start since like September of last year.
Oh my God.
Actually, Zach, before we get off baseball, I got
a
random trivia for you if you know this place.
Okay, go for it.
Let's see. His name is Khalil Green.
Yeah,
Khalil Green. Yeah, shortstop, San Diego Padres.
He had the back in the day. The long blonde hair.
Loved him. He ended his career with the Cardinals, I believe.
Almost copped a kilogram jersey. So
big fire. Cop it. Definitely cop it. The Padres one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was sick, dude. Me and Jacob were definitely big on Khalil Green. He was cool, dude. Good player.
I looked him up. His average was horrible, but I didn't know who he was.
He was like a fan favorite type guy. Like he's definitely not going to the Hall of Fame, but he was a cool player. Like I love him. I remember him on like those slugfest type games back in the day. You know, with the fantasy drafts. He squeaked his way into a couple of my rosters.
Grab the dude that broke Carlos Quentin. Grab the Carlos Quentin, dude. The fool that broke Granky in half.
Oh yeah, he was cool.
Hey, this is just a random find.
Yeah, that's
Shout
a
out to
cool
5 Star
find, man.
Vintage. Random find.
Oh man, if that's where you found it, yeah. Shout out 5 Star Vintage indeed. I think we got to add for them coming up next week. We're trying to work that relationship out. Cool stuff over there. That's definitely a cool jersey, and he's gonna have it for probably a good price. So that would be a cool find to put in the collection. Wear on random little swag events, little swag daddy.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't know who he was.
You in the summer, and all of a sudden they're like, "What's he doing in a Padres jersey?" Turn around, oh shit, Khalil Green, he's crazy.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't know who he was, so I had to look him up.
So last week we had so much for every sport. NFL's slow again, but so bad news then good news. You guys, both your QBs were on COVID list, and then now they're both off. So shout out to you guys for surviving the scare. Minshew and Stafford were.
You guys saw how Minshew answered it?
Uh-uh.
They asked him like, "Oh, we thought you had the virus." Something. He said, "No, that virus took one look at me and ran the other way."
Minshew's amazing. That's hilarious.
He said it knew what it was. He said the virus knew what was good for him and looked at me and ran the other way. I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!"
Probably wearing some jorts while he said it.
That's definitely a Minshew answer. Like that's definitely his answer.
You definitely gotta love it.
Shout out to Stafford, number 9. That's my guy. I'm happy he's
safe.
Good looks, Staff. Good looks, man.
Yeah.
My guy. You're my guy, man.
Dude, everybody's opting out. It's not happening. I don't think football happens.
Was like, you guys think there's going to be a season? What do you guys think?
I don't think we get one.
No. I feel like everyone's knee-jerk reaction at the beginning of these seasons is always no, but I feel like they're always going to find a way to make it happen because there's so much money at stake here.
I just don't know what you do it for football.
Money.
And you can't.
They're gonna make it happen.
There's going to be a season. I don't know who's going to be playing on my team, your team,
the Russians. Like you'll get
the
your
money.
season.
Russia is always the money. These people are looking at the
you're gonna be getting guys sick and losing money that way anyway. So
I agree. I'm not saying you're wrong, but to me that's the only way it makes sense why they're like we got to start. Because they're the big facts looking at it like, oh my God, every day that we don't do is X amount of dollars missing. And at the end of the day, these big greedy monsters is really all they care about is that dollar. And part of me understands it's an expensive business, it's your livelihood, I get it. And the other part of me is like, have a soul and figure it out, dude. You're in good position to withstand something like this probably. So probably another topic for another day, but I think there will be a season. I mean, that part of the country where football rolls is just too in. Like football is everything to them, and they're going to make it happen. They always make it happen. Football is religion in this country. I find it hard to believe that MLS, NBA, and MLB found a way to make a season. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think NFL is going to find a way.
We got to get a yawn counter. Every time Jake yawns, we got to get like a ding.
I don't know why I'd be doing it. I'm not even tired. Like I'm ready. I'm about to go for a run. As soon as we're done,
all this time. Like we got to get a yawn.
It must be like a chain reaction. Like he's looking at himself yawn, and it's like when you look at someone yawn, you yawn. So he's just making himself repeatedly yawn.
We're gonna get done with this. I'm gonna go for a run. Like I'm not tired. I don't know.
Where are you at on your Mayo count now?
Yeah, we're gonna start putting up a dinger for Jake's yawn.
So where am I? What?
Where are you on your Mayo count? Where are you at now?
Today I should hit right around 120. I didn't run much last week. I got a little busy. And then I went to the
20
beach.
miles?
Since I started COVID. Basically, I started with COVID. Ran
Are we
100.
gonna get you into a marathon? Are we training for that?
I got a lot more work to do, but yeah, I mean maybe one day. I got
He
a lot
said he's
more.
doing 100 push-ups a day this month, so
Yeah, today's first day of the new 30-day challenge. 100 push-ups a day for 30 days. That's the new one.
He's getting his American Ninja Warrior training in now. Is what must be what he's prepping for.
Yeah, it did.
Put those down.
Yeah, I was about to say. To be continued.
Fucking
Gotta blow these things up real quick.
Put those down, dude.
little squirt guns.
Yeah. So bring us home per usual. What you guys been up to? It's this
Last Chance You. I've been watching Last Chance.
Harder and harder with COVID because it's like we used to have a lot of cool shit we were doing all the time or watching, but it's like we just keep getting wrapped up in the house. I feel like this segment's getting harder and harder at the end of every episode, but I'm glad Terrence busted it out the gate. Last Chance You. Is it good? I haven't caught it.
It's only because
y'all know I went to school in Oakland for college, so Alameda College was right next to Laney, so it's just crazy to see like a college like I was right next to all the time. I didn't even know, like I knew there was sports school when I was out there, but they didn't have basketball, so like we didn't play them. and so forth. So I didn't know they were like this powerhouse football school and so forth. So it's kind of wild to see them have their own show and whatnot, and hear like the lineage from Laney. And like all of the Last Chance U is dope as hell to see these players and like to hear their stories and whatnot and try to get through. So, but I'm a big sports documentary guy.
I've loved Last Chance U. I loved the first team.
I think QB1's their best series though. I love that. I think QB1 is the best series.
And then I love Independence in Kansas with Jason Brown was hysterical. I mean, that was just all crazy. The craziest coach I may have ever seen. That guy was a maniac. So I'm interested to see this new.
I like the first one best though. The first season coach was the turned up. They had the most craziest players. Like
I don't know. Independence coach gave him a run. That guy was a maniac. Jason Brown is crazy.
Yeah, he is. He is, facts.
I'd like to see both of them like arm wrestle or something. That'd be pretty crazy. Like there's some crazy dudes. Jake, what you been on, brother? Other than running?
I haven't really watched anything new. I dove into some of those comics that I got, but how's
read been?
They've been pretty good. I'm on that Iceman series. It's really good. I just got MLB The Show, so like I've been playing it to like 1 a.m. Kind of been my thing lately. I got to get some new reads and some new shows next week. It's been like hoops all day, just NBA all day. And then it's like, okay, let's do MLB The Show. Oh, actually I lied. I'm halfway through the Watchmen series on HBO. And it's fucking phenomenal. What's up, Chance? Look at my guy here. My guy.
I'm doing Chance some justice. Chance looking just gorgeous off the webcam lens, dude. Are you kidding me?
But Watchmen series is great.
Yeah, he fresh out the barber. He looking sick, bro. Yeah, he's killing it, man.
It's ties a lot into like, it's got like a lot of what we're going through today in America. Like if you watch that series, so it's really good with
Watchmen?
Yeah,
Watchmen.
I just watched the first episode. That shit is lit.
Me and Darren just finished episode 5, I think.
Oh, nice. Okay. It's just one season.
It's only one season, and the creator said like it was only meant to be one season. Like this story is supposedly it ends after this.
Oh, really?
Good. Yeah, it's good. Watchmen are cool comics to get too because like we're adults, so it's more obviously with this series like more TV mature, more of a mature read, kind of dark, a lot darker of a read rather than a real kidsy. Marvel Spider-Man isn't going to get too dark, but like some of your DC comics like Watchmen will get really fucking dark.
That's cool.
Interesting.
I can't believe I don't think I've mentioned this since I finished it. I finished the Dark series on Netflix. Wow. When I tell you about a good show,
like it's done.
It's done.
They do with the wrap up.
The very last like image that you see is like a little cliffhangery, and I had some friends ask like, well, what do you think about that? And I think I don't think there is going to be another season at all. I don't see how they would. I think they wrapped it up good. But I like that they gave you kind of like Inception at the very last scene of Inception. It kind of makes you think like, well, did it do that? Like, what is the thing moving? Is he in reality? And so you kind of get that same feeling like, oh shit, are they going to bring it back? Is that a cliffhanger to bring it? But all I will say is Dark is amazing show. 3 seasons, 8-episode seasons on Netflix. Sci-fi thriller, bonkers storyline. Oh my God. Watch it. I promise you.
I felt like we needed to make some money from them now after that promotion you gave them.
Dude, that
was a good sale.
So put the
Netflix hit us up.
But my God, good golly, Miss Molly, that is a great show. All right, anything else from you boys?
Can't wait to watch more NBA.
As always, other teams, Zach Candy, Jay Candy, Terrence Scott. Before Terrence sends us out, as we always do, don't forget this episode and future episodes will be brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Prop up with Thrive Fantasy. Don't forget to go play. They do all the research for you. So if you're tired of trying to figure out the research for your great fantasy lineup, that's what Thrive Fantasy is for. Use the promo code The Other Team. Deposit $20 or more. You're going to get $20 on top of it. And we're going to get $20 for us. So everyone's a winner. I win. You win. Thrive Fantasy wins. Everyone's there. Go to your app store. Go to your Play Store. Go to thrivefantasy.com. You can find it all there. As always, download the Thrive Fantasy. Terrence, take us away, buddy.
It's the Other Team. Mamba forever.